suit. To me, the parish's issue would be with the state, not necessarily with the company that went in and did the work as they were contracted to do and did it according to the law. For just the parish to come up and sue all of these companies just doesn't seem to make sense without there being some steps in place. So what the bill does is it says, look, if your parish wants to sue, then they first have to go to the Department of Natural Resources and say, you released this permit, was it done to the satisfaction of the state? And if it wasn't, then they can make their case to say, these are the reasons we think that we have the right to sue. So I think it's just putting one hurdle in place before you can just go straight to the courts and sue somebody for operating under a permit that they had every right to operate under. I mean, DNR ultimately is not the arbitrator, but to say, you know, you're the one that gave them the permit, you're the one that then cleared the permit upon completion of the work, why did you do that if, in fact, the things that the parish is alleging were true? You have a coastal use permit that, you know, they don't just give those things away to anybody that walks through the door. I mean, it's a pretty rigid application process, and so, you know, I would think that the Department of Natural Resources does a fairly thorough job of monitoring what's happening, you know, with these coastal use. And the locals also have coastal use permits that they issue to companies. And so now that would be a different situation. I mean, if they issue the coastal use permit and don't feel like the company abided by the permit, then I would say, yeah, they could bring the suit without going to DNR. The way the bill's drafted at this point is probably not the way the bill's going to end up. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. But I think it's going to get everybody to sit down at the table and figure out what's the steps that need to be in place to make sure that all companies are following the laws as it relates to these coastal use permits, and that the parishes have to respect the fact that they applied and paid for and got the coastal use permit and did the work up to the standards of whatever the Department of Natural Resources requires.